Cash-a-maniacs.
Geo Gearheads.
Welcome back to the Geo Gearheads, the mostly weekly show about geocaching and geolocation gaming. I'm Darryl W4, back again with Chris of the Northwest for another randomized edition. Chris, this is
That's right.
episode 519.
Wow. And you know, Darryl, did we miss like 1 week last year? That's 2%.
We missed 2 weeks last year, and
That's
last
4%
year was
of the shows.
Yeah, last year we did our first actual miss show. We had to do a couple of reschedules in previous
right.
years. But
Right.
last year was the first year we actually had to miss shows.
Pandemic. It affects everything.
Well, yeah. I'm not sure that I'll blame the pandemic directly, but
Yeah,
yeah,
do
it's the collateral damage of
There you
the
go.
Speaking of collateral damage, did you get your souvenir for 2022?
Well,
for 2021.
For 2021, yes, I did. I told to my wife, hey, if we're gonna go out and do something, I've got to grab a geocache. Now, we had a white Christmas. I can't remember the last time we actually had an actual white Christmas here. Normally, we'll get snow in January, so it misses Christmas. But this year it was a white Christmas, so it was beautiful. However, here in the Northwest, with all the hills, snow is a real problem for most people. So
yeah, and no one knows how to drive in it or even walk in it.
Right.
So
it's
I mean, kind of a little bit
yeah.
interesting to watch it, I'm sure.
I grew up in Ohio where, you had to be careful on the overpasses because they would freeze sooner than anything else, but almost everything else was flat. So not too much of a problem if you kept your speed down. But if you're trying to get up a hill that's covered in ice, you don't stand a chance. So
though it does make entertaining videos for YouTube.
Oh, yes. So that being said, I went out and got a cache.
Congratulations.
And then, in the next week, maybe you can tell by my background, especially the audio listeners can, I got a cache for the new year as well.
Excellent. Yeah, I got my last of 2021, the Fini, doing geocaching day, which I didn't even realize that qualified until we talked about it on the show. So I was like, oh, well, cool. But for New Year's Day, and I think I mentioned it at one point, they usually do the big event. We only had about 260 and change, something like that published this year in caches, but there's no event. It went full virtual because of the pandemic. Next year, they've also committed to doing it virtual because it's on a Sunday next year, New Year's Day. And the only place that they can get that's affordable, I'm not sure exactly how that works, but the only place they could get is a church, which needs the facility on a Sunday.
Kind of use a church on Sunday. Yeah. On Saturday, you might be able to get away with it. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I think really what it comes down to is just an availability, because any of the like banquet halls or whatever are going to have something booked.
Right.
If it's not COVID, so there you
go. Maybe you could go to a Grange.
A Grange?
Yeah. Don't you have Granges?
Not that I know of.
In Ohio, we had Granges. They were, out in the country. It's the meeting hall, but it's it's something else, and I can't remember what. It was just
like the Knights of Columbus and VFWs.
Maybe a VFW, but
yeah,
I'm gonna have to look that up now. But tell me how you do this event virtually.
Well, the event isn't the event. It's just about publishing new caches. So there is the Facebook group. There's a lot of Discord in the Facebook group, but it's now just about going to the caches, and they have a file section in the Facebook group, which they post the GPX file and you download the GPX file. So Renee and I did get out and do a whole bunch of caches.
Mm-hmm.
There were no caches around us to speak of. So we had to actually drive about an hour north, not quite, but close to an hour north, and do the caches. We actually did a video of kind of the whole process that we did on YouTube, and managed to get 17 first to finds, which is her first time getting any FTS of consequence, and my best. So that was pretty impressive.
Yeah. So there you go. Limax doesn't think they have a Grange here. Don't think I've heard the term before. The Pickle Ninja says, if you're talking about farmer Granges, we have Grange number 1 where I live.
And then GSM times 2 says that Ojai has a Grange.
GSM times 2, I think, looked up the same thing I did. The dictionary definition in the U.S. is a farmers association organized in 1867. The Grange sponsors social activities, community service, and political lobbying. So, I mean, I remember growing up in, the little town I lived in Ohio, and there would be dances at the Grange. There would be, get-togethers. That's where you went for the big birthday parties of, whoever's reached 100 years old or what have you. Those kind of things.
I'm pretty sure now that I hear the definition or see the definition that I have passed Granges, just none in this area. And I want to say that I've actually gone to a tractor show that was sponsored by the local Grange.
Yeah, it's
of course we're not talking about the tractor, truck kind of things that most people are used to. We're talking about people who are very proud of their historic tractors.
Yes. They're not using them to pull a lot of weight.
No. They're
not using them to cultivate fields either.
Yeah, it's more like a car show.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think a concours d'elegance kind of thing.
Ooh, but with tractors.
With tractors, yes. And there were steam tractors. There were the old...
what was that country song?
What are they called? Putt-putts?
She loves me for my tractor?
Don't know. I've got to find the link again and send it to you. There's a comedian that did a synopsis of all country songs that a couple of my guys at work shared with me that was really funny. And the guy who did it was actually a pretty decent singer. So it sounded like it might have been a legitimate country song, record it and release it, but it was a really, really funny song. It's like, yeah, that's kind of the historic or the classic country music.
This one is from Kenny Chesney. She thinks my tractor's sexy. There you go.
GSM times 2 looked up the nearest Grange for me, and it's in Pittsburgh, Michigan. Which is on Ann Arbor Saline Road in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Wait.
So at least half an hour away.
How could it be in Pittsburgh if it's in Ann Arbor?
Well, I don't understand the Pittsburgh. Because as soon as I saw that, I'm like, Pittsfield? I know Pittsfield Township. I've gone caching there before. I've gone caching in Ann Arbor before. But Ann Arbor has not been refreshing the caches enough lately.
Oh. Pizza Ninja wants to know, what about the Order of Odd Fellows lodges? Do you have those? I remember those growing up, but I haven't seen any in a long, long time.
Yeah, I can't say that I remember seeing it, but
I thought it was a funny name. Well, those are Odd Fellows.
Yeah. That sounds more like a comedic organization than an actual brotherhood.
We have a British pub right up the street called Odd Fellows. Maybe I have to go there. Have some bangers and mash.
Oh, man. Why don't we actually get into some...
what are we talking about?
News.
Not Granges?
No, not Granges. But more or less news. And we'll start with the Reach the Peak leaderboard resetting that happened back on January 3rd. So, I still don't have anything.
Way back then? Are you kidding?
Yeah, no, I'm not kidding. But once again, you find one cache at 350 points, and you get to the base camp of Akragul. No, there's no L in there.
Oh, this was
Kagul.
spelled out for me.
Wow.
On the other show, pronunciation wise.
Yeah.
But the GUA is pronounced differently than you would think. Like,
so it's spelled ACONCAGUA.
Yeah.
That sounds good enough to me.
Yeah. Well,
while you check that, I'll continue though with the 6,960 points, which is a very American way to say that. Sorry about that. But 6,960 points will get you the souvenir. The points this time are significantly different across the board, except for that just basic found it log. So this time the multi-cache is worth 775 points, which ironically is the high from last month as well. Denali was 750, so we're only gaining 25. Mystery cache is 750 this time. Last time that was only worth 550.
So that goes up significantly.
That one, yeah, that's a nice jump. And so your bonus caches for adventure labs and stuff are going to be much more valuable now. Find on a cache with 15 or more favorite points is 725, only up from 25 from last month. But the notable change there is last month it was only 10 favorite points. Now you need 15 favorite points to get that. So that I thought was interesting. Are there enough caches now with high favorite points that's what they're doing? Maybe. Earth caches are 700, up from 600. Letterboxes 550, up from 500. Adventure lab locations are 425, up from 425, or 450, up from 425. And then the found its, as I mentioned earlier, are 350.
Right. Now, as is the way, this is the way. You'll notice that the Adventure Lab locations, just about 15 Adventure Lab locations or 3 full Adventure Labs will get you the souvenir. This one's 15.46. So
yeah, so we're at about the same number of caches, I think, every month.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what it's looking like. You know, it fluctuates a little bit.
Right.
Limex said he just decided to change his wording from 10 plus too many.
Too many. just many. Okay, so I looked up the pronunciation and I'm not real good with the pronunciation with all the funny letters, but I get A Ken Kagwe.
Kagwe, I think.
Kagwe. A Ken Kagwe.
Wow, that's not an easy one to say.
Well, not in our language.
No. I like it, but it's not an easy one to say. GSM Times 2 said that he reached the peak today, getting 16 smileys on his find by date calendar, filled to 26.
Wow.
That's quite amazing.
So 16 caches. There had to be several non-traditionals, right?
Or the favorite points.
Right. Oh, true. Or the favorite points.
Yeah, if he's going by the find by date stuff. Well, if it's a find by date, you'll have to let us know. GSM Times 2, is that the date hidden or the calendar date one? I'm thinking it's probably a calendar date one. So it could be any date posted, and who knows how old they were.
15 were adventure locations and 1 traditional. Exactly.
Oh, okay, there you go.
That's all you need.
Yep. Very nice. All right, but yeah, is something I'm looking forward to doing. Haven't gotten even the base camp on it yet, despite already missing 2 of Renee's needed dates this month.
Darryl, what are you doing?
Working.
Oh, okay. I have not hit base camp yet this month, so
yeah. Well, it only turned over this week,
right?
So.
I mean, I got my fines before the reset. So
yeah, well, and that was my thing too. Is I did all of my fines for this month so far were done on the 1st, and it changed on the 3rd. So, maybe this weekend, but not likely because this weekend is going to be really nasty. So,
yeah,
not going to do it. Hopefully it turns out to be not so bad and we can actually get out and find some caches.
We have the
one of the
possibility
things
of more snow coming up. So,
well, yeah, ours is getting into single digits, real temperature, not just the way it feels.
It doesn't matter if it's Canadian units or freedom units at that point. Isn't that what the C and the F stands for?
Right. Okay. I don't think so.
Oh.
But
I broke him up. I win. I won the internet today.
You won. You won. All right. Anyway. Yeah, we're hoping to get out and do some caching and fill out the calendar, and we're trying to get that 400 plus caches this year. Still
at
don't
least
have
365, right?
366. We got to do better than 1 cache a day.
Oh,
we did that this year.
Go getter.
We got 368, I think, but we have to do better than 1 cache a day. We can't just do 1 cache a day because that was our goal for last year.
Okay. So you got to do 1 and 1 365th cache a day.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we're hoping for at least 400 with all of the good stuff coming up this year. Hopefully we'll do better than the 400 even. But for the rest of the year, we're looking at a few souvenir moments, as they call them. And the official blog lists out the ones that we know about so far. We started off, of course, with the Once Upon a Time 2022, which is the first of 2022 souvenir that we've talked about.
Hooray!
That still runs through the 8th. So if you're listening to this even recorded, you still have time to get out and do that if you're catching it early.
Right.
The Cedo trash in Cedo season 1. Cedo
trash. Yeah. You're not fond, are you? Okay. Now we know where Darryl stands.
March 1st through May 31st. And also of note is remember that GC8 Neat has been extended through the end of this year.
Yes.
So if you haven't gotten that, you also have the chance to grab that one this year as well.
Let's see. Did you get your Cedo souvenirs last year?
I did not get Cedo souvenirs because none of the Cedo events that I could make it to were in that time frame.
Yeah, I got season 1 actually last year somehow. So that I didn't get season 2.
Houston, Texas Dave says hoping Geo Woodstock Canadian borders are open in August.
Yes.
And we will talk about that a little bit in a while. But getting
no
back
reading
to the
ahead,
souvenir.
Dave. No reading ahead.
Deuces Wild are January 22nd. That one I hadn't even thought about, which I should
there's
have.
Several events already in my area.
Yeah, I'm sure there are here. So I've got to take a look at that one. Blake. Wow. After
you want me to start reading some? I mean, you seem to be having trouble.
I am having so much trouble, but I'll make it through this one.
Okay.
People can laugh at me, and then you can take over. Big Blue Switch Day is actually going to be April 30th through May 2nd. So we have a broad range of dates. Everyone hopefully can get out and find one. I know that's a lot more difficult.
Yeah. I kind of like that they're extending out the time frame, right?
I do, especially right now.
Yeah. For New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, having that over a 2-week period. Well, we got hit by snow, so that made it really nice that, I
Yeah.
didn't have to. I could choose when
And
I
it
wanted to
used
go
to be
out.
easy enough that someone was going to hold an event on each of those days in the area,
Right.
so I could go and hit those if I
Mhm.
couldn't get the cash anyway. You try to do both, but at
Right.
least you had the event. Now you can't do that one. Did I say
Uh,
January 2nd?
yeah, GSM times 2. Daryl said Deuces Wild on January 22nd. So maybe Chris
It's
should read them.
February
Well,
22nd.
well, it's February 22nd, 2022. But what about February 2nd, 22? So that's 2222. Deuces
Yeah.
Wild gives you 22222. So 5 twos as opposed to 4 twos.
Right. It's just more twos. It's all about the two twos.
To 2 twos?
The two twos.
Mhm.
International Geocaching Day is going to be August 20th.
I
Then the
wonder what
CETOs,
they're doing for that day.
nothing.
Oh, okay. Nothing.
Nothing. Geocachers get to rest on the
Okay.
20th of
Everybody
August.
gets a fine no matter what.
Something like that. I was thinking it's more like, July 4th or Memorial Day or Labor Day. It's when you get to, take the day off work
Mhm.
and,
Yeah,
enjoy.
you should. Yeah.
CETO Season 2 is September 1st through November 30th. International
those are right,
Earth
folks.
Cache Day, October 8th and 9th.
Those are right too.
And then Goodbye 2022 is going to be Christmas through the end of the year again.
Mhm.
Now, one of the interesting notes in
We're
the
already
article.
planning the end of 2022, Daryl. Come on.
Yeah.
We just
Well,
started the year.
yes, but they have to make
Gonna
those
go like
plans early
Mhm.
because you never know when it's going to get crazy again and we're not going to be able to do anything. So, but one of the interesting notes in this article was that they've changed the way that they're handling the release of the souvenirs.
I found this
And
very interesting.
yeah, they're actually looking at releasing up to 10 country and regional souvenirs every month, which they note is up to 120. They're probably not going to hit that because it's up to. So if they're limited to 10 somehow, which I don't imagine they are, but if they're limited to the 10 and they don't make it 1 month, there's not going to be that 120. But they've simplified the process for the new souvenirs, and they're not going to highlight the release of the new countries and regional souvenirs.
What do you think about that?
I don't know that people really cared that much anymore. I'm not sure.
I like the fact that they took the time and highlighted a country and said, this is the country souvenir we're releasing this month. Right?
Yeah.
Or maybe there were 2. Nice.
But
There's
I
a
think
lot of
it hit
countries
that
they got to
point.
catch up on.
Sure. But I think they kind of hit that point where it's, just so much that people just don't care.
Yeah.
We've
I
been
can't
doing
wait for
this
the
for
North
how
Korean
many years?
souvenir.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be one.
China?
There probably
Maybe in
will
China.
be one, but they're probably not going to. Well, you
My
could
next-
probably do an event.
My next virtual I'm going to put in there. In North Korea. What do you think? You think anybody will find it?
I don't think that
Somebody will, just because.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't know.
Hmm.
But yeah. So in any case, they're hoping to get all of the relevant countries and regions, and that's one of the reasons that I'm thinking North Korea might not get one. Relevant countries and regions in the next 2 years. So my question becomes: are they going to start getting to like county souvenirs after that? I don't think so, but it'd be interesting.
It would be.
They'd have to go back and calculate where all of the caches are posted, because as far as I understand, the country and state and those kind of souvenirs are coming from what the cacher has selected, on the cache page.
Mm-hmm.
It's not automatic by region, by location.
Just finding our way doesn't expect my virtual will get approved. So I'll have to start the virtual in South Korea and then just slowly move it till it crosses the border. Nobody will notice.
I don't think that's going to work well for you.
Darryl, why do I already have plans to do this? This is wrong. I've already spent too much time thinking about this.
So let's move on.
Okay,
and I'll let you read this next one.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, which isn't much of a read.
2022 is the year of the hide. This is from the official geocaching blog. We all know the game of geocaching cannot exist without geocaches. Some are older, almost historic and beloved, but the game could not continue to flourish without new and refreshed cache hides. That's why Geocaching HQ invites you to celebrate 2022, the year of the hide.
So there's not much in this article really, but it's about refreshing the game board. That's the way that I actually took this. They're encouraging people to go out and hide again,
Mm-hmm.
and for people to reconsider the hides that are out there and replace them with something new.
Right.
So I was very happy to finally see this one make it into this kind of announcement. Are they going to follow through?
I don't know. GSM times 2 is happy that the hiders get some love.
Yeah, very much agreed. We had that maker event, but that was 8 years ago? Something like that?
Yeah, it was. It was a long time ago.
Yeah. So I'm hoping we're going to see another one of those kind of events, either this spring or into summer.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I have my souvenirs just happen to be up right here.
They just happen to be, huh?
Maker was in 2014.
Just finding our way is suggesting that I need to select a new co-host for your endeavors in the Koreas.
Yeah, I'm going to be arrested and put in Korean jail, North Korean jail, and never seen again.
Well, yeah, it sounds like GSM times 2 expects a little more to happen than just that.
See, he's put more thought into it than I have, and I thought I'd put a lot of thought into it already. So, you know what? Let's just stop with this, okay? Well, we're going to stop with the whole North Korea thing because
GSM times 2 was ecstatic to see that announcement
about me putting a virtual in North Korea.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
I think he's looking for a new co-host. Maybe he's looking for the co-host job.
He's trying to push me out.
Yeah.
Okay, GSM times 2. I might take you up on that.
So Pickle Ninja says, excuse me, Pickle Ninja says, when are they going to give souvenirs for hiding caches? And I'm wondering if that isn't part of this coming plan.
Mm-hmm.
2022 is going to be the year of the hide. They're going to do something else, I hope. And GSM times 2, meanwhile, is lining himself up to be the co-host.
Yeah. I better watch my back.
and above your head.
Uh-oh.
You're living in a cartoon world. You got to watch for those anvils now.
That's right.
All right. We mentioned Gigastock or Geo Woodstock.
No, we did not. Geo Woodstock.
Earlier on. But it is official now that it is Gigastock again.
Hooray!
And I kind of wish they would change the name from Geo Woodstock to Gigastock because it's so much more fun.
It is fun. I think it should just remain unofficial Gigastock. So what's going to come after Giga? Terrastock?
Yeah. That just doesn't sound good, though.
No. I like Houston, Texas, Dave. GSM times 2-22-2022.
2002. Anyway, so yeah, I was very excited to see that change. Not that it's, a huge deal, except that if we can actually go,
it is a huge deal
because
because
it is.
This will be
But
Canada's first Giga event.
Exactly, and I'm excited to have that Giga event in Canada. But we always kind of assumed it would hit Giga status.
Mm-hmm.
Proximity to, two major events like that, it's going to get Giga.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
just kind of assume. So I am very excited because I am looking for that 2-country Giga status that.
Oh,
right now I've only hit 1.
Mm-hmm.
But so I've got my Giga in the US. So do you, Chris.
That's right.
And now we'll get to go and have our Canadian Giga stock.
That's right. We're monocountryal as far as Giga goes.
Meanwhile, Starcasher says Stratostock.
Ooh.
I like that one. The only problem is you probably have a much more limited number of venues that can host a Stratostock.
Probably. Yeah, GSM times 2 says a lot of people who did not get to Cincinnati still don't have the icon.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
haven't eaten the chili. But besides
depending on your digestive problems, might be a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is good chili, but having that much of it can be a problem.
Yeah. Limax has not even been to a mega event.
Really?
Now, what will be interesting is if he comes out for the 20th anniversary event, that's its own type. It's not a mega, it's
Correct.
not a giga, it's
unique. The former Lost and Found.
Right.
What would they call it? It's because it's not the Lost and Found celebration, because that's the community celebrations now. But there was a but the Lost and Found.
There was a Lost and Found, and there was a 10-year event.
Was it the 10-year? I thought they had a Lost and Found street event or street party or something like that they originally called it.
Well, the original block party,
right,
was the Lost and Found event.
Yeah, but I thought it had the name of like Lost and Found Street Party or something like that. That doesn't sound right now that I say it, though. But yes, maybe so. No, it wasn't the block party. It was the first block party. Was not a block party. It was a Lost and Found
event. Right.
Yeah, but they had the community events, and then they had the HQ event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and GSM times 2 kind of reiterates. So if you went to the HQ event and Gigastock, he still would not have a mega event.
That's right. Ironic, but correct.
So there you go. All right. Why don't you actually read an email from Limax, though?
Well, speaking of Limax, the gentleman who's not been to a mega event, he sent in an email. He said, today I noticed the attached log on my Adventure Lab as part of the, I'm assuming, Canada Highway 1 series, right? CA Highway 1? No, it's California.
That's not
Highway
Canada.
1. Yeah. I'm just tossing it out there. I'm trying to see if I can get his ire up because, he's aiming for my job here. He wants to take food out of my children's mouths from the money you don't pay me. That didn't work anyway. Let me start this email again. Today I noticed the attached log on my Adventure Lab as part of the California Highway 1 series. As has been previously established, Groundspeak is trying to somewhat unsuccessfully keep the adventures separate from geocaching. This log, however, makes me think. Are geocachers expecting a bonus cache with adventures similar to Where I Goes? Do they think they're entitled to a bonus cache if you have them travel 15 or more miles to find 10 locations? For full disclosure, this adventure was published close to 200 miles from my home, and it's a 4-hour drive one way just to get there. I really don't want to have to maintain a cache that far from home. What are your thoughts?
Well, and he did attach the log, which is, sitting over here. If anyone's watching the video and wants to try to read this tiny little thing. And there's a couple of things that Chris and I were noticing in this log that just don't really add up. This is someone who has more than 20,000 finds, yet this is their first adventure lab.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem quite right.
The log reads, "This was my first adventure lab." So I don't have anything to compare it to. I think the write-up, photo, and design were all well done. I was bummed there was no bonus cache at the end after spending so much time on so many stops. Also, the cell coverage was very problematic, but I was relieved to be able to answer the questions after visiting the locations when back in civilization. There you go. There,
yeah.
For our folks at home.
So going back to the first part of that, yeah, I can buy that someone maybe hasn't done adventure labs for whatever reason. And we even came up with a plausible reason why they would know that there's a bonus cache for adventure labs, because maybe they're trying to get mystery icons and, finding that most of the mystery icons in their area are adventure labs.
Could be.
So we can find ways that this actually makes sense why it happened. I just don't think this is indicative of what most cachers feel.
I'm shocked that somebody with 20,000 finds has yet, or, this would be their first adventure lab. And if it's their first adventure lab, I'm shocked that they think all adventure labs should have a bonus cache. That, I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one just because it's too easy. Now, okay, I'll go with GSM times 2 here. My thoughts that Limax cannot set a cache 200 miles from home without finding a local caretaker. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to put a cache like when you're on vacation or, you're traveling through something you can't maintain on a regular basis. I completely understand and agree with that.
And Star Cacher, back to the bonus cache thing, has only done a few adventure labs that have bonuses. He's quoting it as 10%. I think I've probably done a little bit better than 10, but it's not more than 20 for sure.
Right. It's definitely not the majority. It's the minority. And, to be disappointed that it doesn't have one. Well, you know what? I know Limax, he more than likely put, hey, this is going to take you so many miles and, distance and these number of stops in the description. So the person knew what they were getting into. And then to come back and complain, oh, this isn't what I expected. No one forced you to do it.
Well, that might not be true. Their wife might have forced them to do it, or husband or significant other.
That's true. And maybe he'll never do another adventure lab and we'll never hear from him again.
Maybe.
I assume a him. I apologize if it's a her.
Yeah, we're using the him, I guess, in the
generic sense.
Yeah. Because what were we taught in school? It was like, if there's no gender, use your own in your references.
I don't know about that. Okay.
Yeah, because there was something about that in one of my English classes back in high school.
Does anything we learned about gender in high school apply anymore?
And that was going to be my next question. Can we believe anything that we were taught? Because obviously it's all wrong.
That's right. Well, everything I know
just
is wrong.
Eliminate gender from language. Yeah, that's not going to work very well.
This individual.
That's going to take years to pan out. But this is why, because I am bothered by the they them pronouns, because I was always taught that's plural. So how can one person claim that there are multiple people?
I have to agree with Norman.
Don't go there. Oops. As we're both talking about it. Yeah. But in any case, getting back to the
Norman,
issue at
words
hand.
of wisdom. Thank you. Yes, I put on my bad cop hat, John. I admit. Okay, I'm taking it off now.
Yeah, I'm going off the rails. Yes, I am.
Yeah, you're off the rails, Darryl.
My point is that we're not going to get the language fixed as far as that goes. So we're going to be making mistakes for at least the next 100 years.
And you can't fix people, right?
Well, not legally.
Oh, well, I'm saying that when somebody has their opinion and they've expressed their opinion, that's their opinion. Fine.
Yep.
I don't agree with it, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. Yeah, it does. Oh. Oh, here. GSM times 2 is defending Limax by quoting his Adventure Lab description. This will take you to 10 locations. I'm getting all choked up about this. I apologize. This will take you to 10 locations of local history and interest. The total distance of this adventure is around 23.5 miles and should take 2.5 to 3 hours to complete. There you go. So you knew up front. If you didn't read, that's your fault.
And Limax says he gets a bit upset when you can see there are supposed to be bonus caches, but they don't include the GC code in the adventure description. Very true. You know, if there is a bonus cache, you have to let people know what that cache is so they can actually log it or put the coords on it or whatever.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, if this is part of the Highway 1 series, it's really tough to put a bonus cache out there because if you're coming from one direction and not the other, you know, are you going to drive the 23.5 miles back to go get it? Or do you put it in the middle?
Pickle Ninja says that he's heard of that 3-hour tour.
It doesn't end well, as we can see from this log.
Yes. See, there's your problem. You needed to make it either much shorter or much longer. 3 hours just is a bad plan.
Yeah, bad planning. Yeah. I've never heard anything wrong with a 1.5 hour tour.
No, nor that 8-hour tour. It's only the 3 hours. Right. Starcasher says the most recent Adventure Lab he did, the fifth location of a linear Adventure Lab was the cache for the bonus mystery. Which makes a lot of sense. You take them in the linear experience.
It's sequential.
Yeah. Get them to that final, and then they get the bonus cache at the final, which is one of the acceptable reasons for doing a linear Adventure Lab. So, you know, that makes sense to me. And then you don't have to worry so much about the coordinates and did people copy them down and see the journal entries. So yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Somebody asked me this week, it said, is your Adventure Lab linear or sequential? I had to go look, and yes, it is, because it tells a story.
Yeah. Which is what I did with mine, is because it was the story leading to the final.
Right. And, you know, with that, I'm okay. It's a very short walk, you know, so, you know, it's less than 15 minutes to do the whole thing. So I don't look at that and say that's a big concern. But, you know, somebody, well, you can't. There isn't a way to get around it, is there? Maybe there's
around the linear.
Yeah, sequential.
Yeah,
maybe there's a web tool that will download them anyway.
Yeah, there probably is a way to, you know, force it. But yeah, I don't know of it, and I'm not going to share it if I did, I think.
Right. I would agree. I wouldn't share it if it did.
Yeah. All right. I'm sure we have some other folks that have opinions on this too. And
no, nobody else thinks like anybody like Limax or GXM times 2.
So maybe we should just give people the address if they want to apply for your co-host position.
I think it's going to be Limax or GSM times 2. So,
yeah. So if anyone else wants,
you know what, go ahead and send in your audition tape.
Yes. Send in your feedback on any of the stuff that we talked about tonight or anything else, because, you know, we do one of these what's it called again? Randomized shows every month, and we always like to have the filler for it. And come on, sometimes it's a good enough topic, we make a full show out of it. But it's GeoGearheads at cashmaniacs.com. Again, that's GeoGearheads at cashmaniacs.com. If you have anything that you want to share with us,
like your audition tape, make sure you read difficult words in unusual formats, and especially try to pronounce mountain peaks in foreign countries.
Wow. It's been a show, that's for sure.
Oh, there's no doubt. Every show has been a show, Darryl.
Yes.
This one is a show.
This one's a show.
Yeah. Oh, hey folks, make sure you check the Cashmaniacs website at cashmaniacs.com for more on the Geo Gearheads, including show notes for this and all our episodes. We love hearing from our listeners, so leave us feedback by emailing geogearheads at cashmaniacs.com or through the many channels of social media. Your support helps keep the Cashmaniac shows coming. Please consider becoming a patron through the link on our website to support the Cashmaniac shows. Geo Gearheads is produced by Chris Umfenauer and Darryl Wattenberg. This show's copyright 2022 by Darryl Wattenberg. All rights reserved.